For your personal object study, once you have your initial sketch down, before we start moving in with paint, we're going to start to look at addressing any white areas that we want to mask off so that we reserve those and that we can keep those as we're painting and still reserve some of those bright highlights. So I'm noticing like that big large shadow that's on that top of the strawberry. I want to save that, and then I can always touch up the edges around that later on. When you pick between tape and crayon, I would say kind of keep in mind if it's something that you want to be able to remove and take away and be able to adjust a little bit and fine tune. This can be helpful where highlighting is a little bit more either gradual or you're not seeing like a really crisp like outline. Where you do have those highlights that are really bright, you're seeing a very pronounced like outline or shape. Crayon can be helpful because you're not really going to interact with that outline or that edge as much. Whereas with this one, I'm probably gonna have to go back and kind of glaze over some of those areas where it starts to transition over to that mid-tone. But once you have your highlights masked, either with the tape or with crayon, if you are using crayon, make sure that you're using really heavy pressure so that you're not running into an issue with it either not working or the paint just ends up seeping through. And then first step as you get going is we're going to look at essentially an underpainting for this. So you're looking at undertones, thinking of almost like consistent color you see underneath kind of those base colors. So within my strawberry, I'm seeing kind of these yellow tones of the seeds. Since I don't want to have to go and paint those back in since they're lighter, I'm going to have that yellow be my underpainting. That color is going to radiate and change out to an orange and then a deep red where I see that shadow develop. And then in the leaves, I'm seeing again kind of a light yellow green in the veins of the leaves. So I'm going to look at that similar shade. And then I'm also noticing kind of a red reflection in my shadow. So I'm going to incorporate that as well. This first layer, you're not really looking at full kind of almost like mimicry of what you're seeing with your subject. You're looking at kind of those undertones where you're seeing kind of consistent color. With watercolor, you're really thinking on building up your light colors first and then building into your midtones and shadows later. So this is kind of that first layer, looking at just addressing what are those lightest consistent colors that you see. And then once this dries, then we'll go in and then start to identify kind of some of those more true to life or true to your photo reference if you're going with kind of a naturalistic color scheme. Do keep in mind if you want to alter your color scheme a little bit or change up the colors that you're seeing, you're welcome to do that as well too. But that'll be it for kind of masking and first layer.